with everything inspected where we want it to be. We had to take it apart one more time because now we're at the final stage.
It is a dial with an SUV going downhill. That is your downhill assist.
Good morning, Defiant Jeep. Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to do a simple project. Shouldn't take but a few minutes, but we're going to do something relatively fun. I hope it's fun anyways. And you've seen this project a lot. You see a lot of Jeeps with an additional rack bolted into the cargo area, either for organization or for more space. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me go ahead and give this camera a spin. If I can get this thing to work out right. All right, let's take a look at Defiant real quick over here. Let's unlock it. All right, so plainly you can see that I got a lot of good stuff going on here. It's kind of a mess, and I got a lot of stuff there. You can see that I got a couple toolboxes there and a whole bunch of bags. And I carry a lot of stuff that's relatively, I guess, essential equipment when I go off-road. Now, I do carry pretty much a small mechanics tool set, another toolbox that's just a bunch of random tools, but I've got other stuff that's needed, like let's say a kinetic rope, so synthetic, what do you call these things? Like a synthetic snatch rope. I forgot what you call it. I got in such a brain fart right now. I got a pulley for a synthetic rope. I'm sorry, the other ones were soft shackles. Yes, I do carry a bunch of soft shackles. Of course, my air compressor, the hose kit, all that good stuff. But instead of this big old mess that I got going on Defiant right now, we're going to go ahead and organize that. And what I mean by that is we're going to go ahead and attach a rack. And let me give you an idea how it's going to go. I know the shot's not very close, but I'm going to show you where we're going to actually add another shelf area right here, which is going to give us a lot more organization space, where I can capitalize on what's going on over here and put my back seats folded up the way they're supposed to be. So let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and empty this area, and then I'm gonna show you a breakdown of the parts we're gonna use so that we can go ahead and start the assembly. So let me go ahead and prepare myself, and then we're underway. Already at this point, I got the Defiant totally unloaded, and I do carry a lot of stuff. As I'm actually looking at all my stuff on the pavement right now, I'm looking at, as I mentioned, the two tool sets, multiple compressors. I got my regular Morflate. I have another smaller compressor I got from Harbor Freight, which is pretty much just a backup compressor just in case there's a failure. I get a one-tire compressor for like a quick shot, or if somebody needs help with one tire, I can use that one instead of breaking out my Morflate kit, which is so powerful. It's actually created for a 4-tire setup. Let me see. All kinds of neat stuff. My air horses, my Automagic tire hub. I carry a lot of stuff. I even got a chainsaw. I got my traction boards. I even got a bottle jack and a torque wrench. I carry a lot of good stuff with me. So it's yeah, a lot of neat stuff to have. But now let's take a look at this project real quick. Now, simple. Now this is an off-brand. You see other brands like Hook Road or what's that other one? It's another brand. Hook Road. They got another one. I'm sorry, U-Box. I think that's what it's called. It's U-Box. And this is a third one that I had found by. It's either Y-Zona or E-Zona or Izona, however they pronounce it. But I'll leave a link in the description below for this one right here. And they're all pretty much generated about the same. Let me go ahead and start tossing some of this stuff out of here. We'll start unboxing this little guy. Thankfully, I brought my knife. Let's cut some of this good stuff out of the way. And we're gonna talk about these parts. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna start unwrapping everything real quick, and then we'll start talking about it. Okay? Alrighty, now that we got that all unboxed, let's take look at what we're looking at here. Now we're looking at this cargo basket. I know it seems a little clumsy. It's a beautiful one piece. There are other designs where the basket is at least a two-piece and you got to bolt them together. I did not want to go in that direction. Another reason I selected this one, as you can tell by the depth of this, that this basket is actually 3 inches deep, which works for me because I carry a whole bunch of random different stuff. And I wanted to make sure that this basket would be deep enough to secure a lot of stuff. Before I start talking about the construction, I do want to measure one more thing. Aside that it's got maybe a good, I don't know, I want to say 18 inches or so. I'll remeasure that. As a matter of fact, let me see, do I got any kind of dimension on it? No, but what I'll do is I'll get the dimensions of the basket, of its length and width, and I'll put them right up here as soon as I get a minute. But as a one piece, that was a winner for me. Versus the two piece of other brands that can be more expensive, whether it be the Hook Road or the U-Box. Now this particular one, looks like I got it all here. This particular one, a one-piece basket, and the only thing that came with is 2 additional brackets. Let me grab those for you. Here are the additional brackets, and you're going to notice that there is an etched letter A or a letter B. This is, of course, to identify passenger side or driver side. Now, before I move forward, we're talking about these parts over here. The instructions are actually very nice. The instructions is a 2-page, just a front and back, a 1-sheet 2-page, in color, with a nice description of the items list and where you have to undo some bolts for fasteners. This can be a little bit more detailed because of the A and B etched or laser cut out of those brackets. It doesn't tell you which is left and right or driver side, passenger side. I went ahead and I kind of got an idea, and I'm believing that the A is the passenger side, B is the driver side, and also identified in these instructions that this particular one by Izona, or Izona, however they pronounce it, is good for JK and JLs. So this is a pretty good kit right here, where you don't have to hunt for a specific vehicle. This is not a universal fit. It is for Jeep Wrangler, JK, or JL. And so if you got either of the 2 modern model vehicle Jeeps, as far as a Wrangler goes, this one will work for you. Now, upon looking at this item right here, it's all very thick steel. You're looking at about, let me see, I want to say about, what is it, what's the thickness on there? It's not 1/4 inch. Quarter would be 4/16. Okay, 3/16. 3/16 thick, very strong, nice construction over here, and it's all molded nicely. And if there's welds on here, you really, oh, there we go, very fine welds. You know, everything actually looks very nice. It's good cut, and you got the provision holes for the JK or the JL. And this particular square one we're going to pay attention to, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And both the A and B side, they are made the same way, of course opposite of each other, and the welds look beautiful, nice thick steel. Another plus to this one that let me want to go with this one, aside of its price, it was like $168 or something like that, but this was also rated 350 pounds. The other brands, the more expensive brands, about 50 pounds less. So for the additional 50 pounds of capacity, I went with it. Another big thing I want to check out is, will it accommodate my torque wrench? I normally carry this long bad boy over here, a Craftsman. I take it with me everywhere, and this would be a nice solution. Oh my God, it fits perfect. It's got ample space. And so what's nice about this basket is it's got so many openings. Let me get this out of here. Put you right there. I'll take these brackets out for a second. Now, as far as this basket, it's got plenty of openings. Got large ones here on the sides. It's got a gang of them at the bottom of the basket. So any one of these could be used as a motley loop. So of course my idea, since I wanted to test out my torque wrench, is to put it some here where there's the opening. I'm gonna wrap like maybe a little bungee cord or something just to keep it from bouncing around, which is definitely a plus for me. All right, so we're about ready Defiant is empty. Let's collect some tools, and we're gonna start to loosen some fasteners. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna show you real quick. If I can give that a spin. Now, first off, remember at one time that the Defiant was a soft top, it's now a hard top. I went ahead and I made a decent trade with a really good friend of mine who wanted a soft top, and I told her I was really wanting a hard top for a long time. We just made an even swap and made it all happen. Now, if most of you are familiar with hard tops, on each side, whether it be driver's side or passenger side, there's 3 bolts. The one in the center and the one towards the rear. Those you're gonna loosen or remove to put the brackets in, and we're gonna secure them loosely. We're not gonna tighten them down. We're just gonna make sure that they're enough, because we still have to play with adjustment. But let's go ahead and collect some tools. We'll get this all done. Alrighty, so we went ahead and we made it to the back of Defiant. Now, let's see, my angle's actually kind of good here. Now, on each side, as I mentioned, you have 3 bolts on the side of the hardtop. We are going to remove the one in the center and the one to the most rear. We're going to do this on both sides. Now, the tools needed, and I'm going by the actual size of the tool, not the bolt. We're going to use a 6mm Allen for the basket mount, and we are going to use a T40 to remove the topper bolts. So let's go ahead and start with that. We're just going to go ahead and remove those. I'm going to do the same on both sides, and then we're going to line up the brackets here. We're going to fasten them down. We're not going to snug them. We are going to leave them loose for adjustment. But right now, we're just going to get everything ready. So let's make sure everything's good, and let's start taking stuff off. All right, so now that we got the bolts off, let's go ahead and grab our brackets. And like I said, the one with the laser cut B is going to be your driver's side, and you're going to be careful of this. Remember, I mentioned that there's a square hole right here. This is a guide. Right next to the most rear bolt, you have this kind of like guide or a dowel. So that's also going to identify that you're doing it right. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to hold it like a horseshoe upside down with the opening in the bottom. You're going to slide it in, and then you're going to tilt. Now, everything lines up right here. The guide is on there. Where's my bolt hole? Oh no, don't tell me that. There it is. I just don't see too good. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start one bolt. And let's start the other. Perfect. Now I am going to try and bottom them out, but I'm doing it as light as possible. I don't want to make it super tight, because remember, like I said, I still want to leave room for adjustment. So I am going to, come on, I'm almost there. Okay, that's good. It's got adjustment on there, dowels in place. Looks actually pretty good. Let's do the same thing to the other side. As I mentioned, we're going to hold it upside down with like a horseshoe with an opening at the bottom. We're going to slide it through the glass, and then we're going to tilt forward. And remember, I don't know if you can see it very well here. Make sure that the seat belt itself is not interfering. It's going in between the openings. It's not kinked or pulled or anything like that. It should function naturally, because that's the fit. Now, those of you that have a fire extinguisher, it's also a nice fit. I'm going to show you my fire extinguisher mount in a moment. All right, so far they're in. Everything looks good. It's going to clear the glass. Everything looks great, and I believe my fire extinguisher is going to clear as well. But we'll find that out in a moment. So now let's go ahead and change our bit, and we are going to go get the basket, and we are also putting on the 6mm. There we go. 6mm Allen head, and we're also going to use a 15mm wrench for the nut. So let me go get those fasteners, and we'll start to line this up. And the holes on the slides, they are actual slots, not actual round holes. Still good for adjustment. but I don't think that's going to be an issue. Let's grab that basket. All right. So far looks nice. That should be an easy mount. Let's just rest that here for a moment. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing my bolts. Actually, I should grab all the hardware. This way there's no confusion. Now, some of you may want to prepare all this hardware in advance, you know, because you have plenty of fasteners here. You got the 4 bolts, you got 4 nuts, you got 4 lock nuts, and you have 8 flat washers. So, not a bad idea to be ready for all this business here. Matter of fact, we're going to put the lock for the spring washer on the bolt itself with a washer. Yeah, that looks good. Actually, you know what? Let me switch my idea, because I have another idea how I'm going to run this. I'm just going to use the bolt and a flat washer. That'll be my direction, and I'll explain that in a moment why I did that. Let me just prepare a couple of these bolts here. Make it super easy. For me, anyway, it's super easy for me. Okay, so I got all 4 bolts ready. Now keep in mind, I am going to look a little silly doing this. I'm doing it by myself with just my 2 hands. So let's go ahead and, if I do this right, one there. What is your problem? What is your problem? There you go. Be a nice guy. Help an old man out, will you? Okay. Hole. Perfect. Let that dangle there. All right, so this is pretty much the assembly right here. It's already set in place. It's all, in a sense, bolted down with the fasteners. And what I did with the bolts for the basket. Now, what they had said to do was for the bolt from the outside, of course, put the spring washer and a flat washer going from the outside, put a flat washer here and the nut on the inside. I didn't want to go in that direction because I'm looking at the length of the bolt with the rest of the hardware, and there'd be like a little bit much more sticking out on the inside. And I'm thinking, I don't want any of that stuff pinching or grabbing any of the supplies that I carry here. And the bolt head itself is a very smooth dome with a recess for the Allen. I figured that'd be a better direction to go. It'll give me just a little bit more space. Not that that's really gonna make a big deal difference, but the plus on it is that the surface on the bolt is so smooth, it won't snag or grab any of my bags or the tool I have here. And the nut is facing an area that's not going to be used or anything's going to make contact with. So I think this is a good direction for me to go in. Now, the nut itself is not necessarily designed or intended for this because it's a one piece. Let me see if I take that off. And I don't know what they call this kind of nut, but it's the one that's a one piece. Looks like it has a washer built onto it. It's got all these little knurls on it to create friction so it doesn't back out. So I'm not necessarily using it in the sense that it was designed for, but right now it's going to work for me. So let's go ahead and let's fasten all these things down because it looks like we're ready to go. Everything is lined up right. Let us, as the kids say, let's get this party started. All right, now that the basket's in place, let's go ahead and tighten up our topper bolts. Alrighty, there she is, fully installed. Alrighty, with the basket fully installed, it actually looks pretty neat. I'm going to give it a chance. Of course, I like to do camping also, so hopefully this improves my cargo space for camping. But let's take a look at the end product. Alrighty, pretty much the basket over here. It's got about, I think, 22.25 inches of space right here in the lower cargo area. We got enough space out here up top for a lot more items. You can see that it lined up very well with those bolts. There's the guide, and there is the other bolt. Let's see, the seat belt is still in free play. Let's take a look at the other side. A bolt is secure. I got the guide pin or the dowel there. The other bolt, seat belt still in free play, and still plenty of space for my fire extinguisher. Now, this fire extinguisher bracket is something that I went ahead and I installed sometime earlier. In fact, this happened during when I was changing the top, and I explain about that in a moment. It's actually a very neat fire extinguisher mount. I just pull this pin over here, grab the hydrant, and keep on going. I don't have to deal with the Velcro straps. I'll talk about that in a moment. Alrighty, so I actually think that that extra, I guess, cargo rack you want to call it, or trunk organizer rack, whatever it is, whatever they call it, it seems to be a pretty good success. I'm about to load it up with all my tools and see how much more organized it is. And of course, we're going to fold the seats up so I can show you the amount of space is still available. But while I'm here, I was talking about that fire extinguisher mount. Now, you, me, everybody else, with a fire extinguisher, we always use this Velcro type strap that you just, Velcro around the roll bar and the fire extinguisher. The problem with those is age and time. Just like like I mentioned before, I'm in Las Vegas. It gets like stupid hot over here. And when we were changing the top, when I was going from a soft top to a hard top, and of course my friend vice versa, I noticed that my fire extinguisher was loose. So my buddy Josh, he tried to tighten it for me. There is a plastic buckle on there, because you know how Velcro straps go from one end, loop around, go to this buckle, then loop around that and go back. He tried to make it tight and it broke, and he felt horrible. It was, one of those I can't stop apologizing kind of things. And I told him, don't worry about it. I know it happens. First off, that thing's been there for X amount of time and temperature, and it's plastic. It became brittle and it broke. I don't blame anybody. I hope he still does not feel bad. I don't want that, because I knew it was going to happen eventually. I took advantage, and I saw that this other mount right here that's super cool. It's really easy, inexpensive, like less than $15. And it came with the 4 large clamps. They kind of look like hose clamps, but like really large. So of course 2 of them are wrapped around the roll bar. Half of the assembly, I strapped it onto the fire extinguisher. And as I showed you earlier on that red knob, you just pull that knob and pull the fire extinguisher, and make such a quick recovery of your fire extinguisher if the situation arises, or if it needs to be, versus having to deal with the straps and have to untake it and take it off on the loops. All that business. This is a faster response. I really like it. It's a nice product. It is a composite polymer metal and something else, but I got a feeling this is going to last longer than the Velcro strap one. And of course, when I need the fire extinguisher, it works a whole lot faster, more efficient. So right now it's a plus. I'll leave a link for that one below as well with this mount. But right now, you can see that the whole trunk area is completely empty. Let's go ahead and load it up with all my tools. I'm going to fold the seat up, and let's do a space comparison to see how much space is actually there to see if this product is actually worth it for you. All right, and there it is, fully loaded. Now I got all my tools back in there. Now these are the same tools I just took out a little bit ago, a few minutes ago, so I can start my whole assembly and installation of this project right here. And they all seem to fit a whole lot nicer. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, first off, you notice that I got my traction board still out. We're gonna go ahead and mount those in, and that's gonna be super easy. Let's see all the space there. Everything is easy grab. And we're gonna go to the top. Everything is easy grab and fully organized. Now, before I start talking about this organization, let's take a look at it from another angle. Now here, for the first time in a long time, my seats are actually upright there where they're supposed to be. And as you can see from right here, look at all that space you have from behind the seat to the rack itself. It just saved a gang of space, a whole lot of space. All right, so now that we recognize how much space we saved, let's take a look exactly what I carry in here. You get an idea of how much actually goes off-road with us or with me. We can get everything done. All right, so starting here at the bottom, by the obvious, we got my DeWalt toolbox. Now this box is just full of a whole bunch of random tools. There's no supplies in here, just tools. Let me see, I got my air pressure hose back there in the blue bag. I got a recovery rope, a kinetic rope. Right here in this bag is my bottle jack. I got, I think, another bag under there. I got a red bag down here. That is my jumper cables. Let me see, I got my support for my high lift jack. I don't use the high lift jack anymore, but this support is still good because this platform right here in the center is actually very good for my bottle jack if I need a more stable foot pad. This is, of course, my impact gun and my drill. Here is my Morphlate air compressor, and of course my 301 piece mechanics tool set. And that's just on the bottom. On the top over here, as I showed earlier, I got my torque wrench, got my chainsaw, I got my Morphlate auto hub or Air Magic auto hub. Let me see, I got, this is a jumper box. This is my single tire air compressor, and this bag is my roadside emergency kit, first aid kit. Let me see, road flares, any kind of winch and recovery stuff. I have another kinetic rope in here. I have some soft shackles. I got that one synthetic rope pulley I was talking about. All that's in here. And of course, none of it interferes with my fire extinguisher. You can see that it's still got play there. Fire extinguisher is still fully accessible. And even if I had to shift this a little bit, you know, fire extinguisher is still fully accessible. Now, the one thing that I do have out here is my traction boards. Let's go ahead and give that a look to see how it's gonna fit. Like, let me take a step back. Right here, this is the look we're going for. Let's go ahead and put that those boards on there. Alrighty, and there you have it, the same setup over there with the traction boards on the top. Now, there is no real mounting of any of these items, but like I said, there's so many mounting locations, like a MOLLE panel. So what I'm going to do is all the items that are on top of the rack itself, I'm going to go ahead and use bungee cord just to secure everything. As for the amount of bouncing around that happens when you're off-road, these things can bounce around, work themselves off of the basket and fly around just somewhere else, and you don't want that to happen. So tying them down is going to be the smartest move for you. Alrighty, yeah, now as I was mentioning, tying them down is the smartest move for you. So I am just going to use some bungee cords I have lying around. Like I got some really tiny ones. They're probably about 4 or 6 inches long. I can use that just to strap down the torque wrench. And I've got different sizes of the longer ones. I can just wrap around the other bags and equipment to make sure that they stay secure in the basket. But well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it educational and entertaining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and click that little bell. And of course, join us on all our social platforms. And please don't forget to visit us at www.defiantjeep.com, where you can find all of the Jeep performance accessories, camping gear, and other merch. We'd love to see you on the trail.